Welcome back to season 2 of Troyism podcast, the PBS of podcasts. We entertain you and we educate you. Yeah, the PBS of podcasts. I like that. So welcome back, season 2. Man, I actually missed doing this weekly. I missed sitting here, going through the process, picking out the stories, doing the research. The editing, I really enjoyed the editing and I really missed the editing. But I'm just glad to be back in it. And I know season 1 was only 10 episodes, and then I snuck those last 2 in on you at once. But I needed a break. I needed to regroup. My summer has been kind of all over the place. I had a car accident at the beginning of the summer, which I mentioned last season. And so that's kind of been like the backdrop for my summer, in addition to some other stuff and just the overall world we live in right now. But either way, I gave you 10 episodes. Season 2 is going to be longer. I don't know how much longer, but it's going to be pretty long because I plan on going into the holidays and past the holidays. So, yeah, man, let's catch up. I know that there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. Like a lot of shit happened while I was away. Like it was so bad to at one point I was like, damn, maybe I could just pop in, do a quick show, dedicate a show to just one topic or whatever. But I was like, no, you have to learn how to fully pull back, fully rest, and fully regroup too. Because I think a part of doing this show that made it good from week to week was I was living in the interim of that. So I was bringing back real world experiences. And so I needed to just kind of be away from it and just be, amongst the people and not always looking for or keeping in mind what I wanted to talk about or an editing technique, which I did do a little research on that too. So hopefully you'll see some of those improvements. But what else? What else did I do? Just kind of relaxed, chilled, got grounded, and took care of myself. Excuse me. New mug. Let's see if I can start this season off right without belching. We'll see. I'm burping. I think I'm good though. I think I'm good. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, just you know what? While I was on break, I broke. I just kind of allowed myself to kind of flow. I didn't have, and I live by. I have a schedule. I have a dry erase board. So I'm that guy. But during this break, I really didn't. I didn't really plan for much. I just kind of enjoyed it and kind of let the days and the weeks kind of carry me where I needed to. Not abandoning my responsibilities, of course, but you get it. So on the other side of it, though, stories. So much happened while I was away. So I feel like I'm going to do a quick hit real quick just to give you a 1-2 comment on it. Cause a lot of this stuff is past and the news cycle picks up and keeps moving and the things we're talking about, today we weren't talking about 30 days ago and so on and so forth. So let's see. Diddy, I'm going to go in any order, not in the order the events happened, but Diddy got sentenced to 50 months in federal prison, which with time served is about 36 months, I believe. It's crazy how some people are upset because they feel like he shouldn't have gotten any time. That's a smaller group, but they exist. And then there's a group of people who are upset because they feel like he didn't get enough time. And then there's a group of people who are upset because they felt like the time is the opposite of that, too short. And so, I don't know. It's just people are all over the place. But I guess the one thing it proves is that Diddy is just as polarizing as he's ever been. Oh, man. Oh, fly away. But yeah, he's just as polarizing as he's ever been. So, what do I think about it? I definitely think he needs to serve time and just be away from, more than anything, he actually needs to be away from people and more importantly, away from his power so that he can actually rehabilitate if he cares to and he's not just shoveling bullshit, which it kind of seemed like bullshit because in the courts, it's supposed to be blitzing through this, but in the courts, they were saying that he already had like a convention planned or like a speaking engagements. He had speaking engagements already planned for when he was like, and he didn't. I mean, I know his money's probably lower than it was, but this is not a man who needs to rush out and do work to keep the lights on or keep the lifestyle up. So yeah, that looked kind of arrogant, and it kind of looks like even on lockdown, you haven't been as reformed as you need to. So yeah, he needs to sit it out. As far as the time, 36 months. I still don't think he's gonna do the full 36. I think to show how unrehabilitated he is and how unsorry he is, his primary focus is getting out of there by any means. And so he'll spend, quite like he spent his time trying to get out of jail with all the bails and rebails and bond hearing. I think he'll do the same with this sentence. And he, by hook or crook, he will find a loophole or a way to not serve the full time. Therein proving that you are every bit of the person you probably were presented in this case, and you have not learned from any of this. I'm not going down this Diddy rabbit hole. He's in jail. He's away until further notice, and that's that. Moving along, what else happened? Asada Shakur passed away. Yeah, her passing for me had a dual meaning, because her passing was just sometimes after Charlie Kirk's passing, and during the onslaught of what happened after Charlie Kirk passed, I won't even revisit all of that, but in the onslaught of what was going on after he passed, I felt like the world was like out of balance. I was like, what the hell is going, like, up is down, down is up, like we are in, wacky land or some shit. But her passing, kind of, in a way, the timing of her passing and what she represented and how she died free, it kind of shifted things back. And for me, it added perspective again. It showed that, things can get off kilter, but don't forget where your balance is. Don't forget what's real to you. Don't forget who you are and whose you are, and from whence you came. And so, she's one of the ancestors now. And I heard someone say on one of the socials that, she'll go to the other side and push and fight for us in that realm, which I surely believe or hope is true. So yeah, rest in peace to Asada Shakur. What else happened? I already talked about Charlie Kirk, so I can breeze past that. Cardi B dropped her sophomore album. No comment. Cardi B dropped her second album, Am I the Drama? And clearly she was. But I think she intended it to be that way. And I'll get into that a little bit more. But just to go back on the album, solid album. My only critique that I had initially is even fading away a little bit. My initial critique was that while I felt it was a solid follow-up, it felt a little dated and like it probably should have come out a lot sooner than it did. But as I listen to it more, it's growing on me. Still won't replace Invasion of Privacy, but I believe that about most artists' debut albums, so that's not a big thing. It's kind of like lightning in a bottle. Like you can't get it twice, and even if you get it again, it'll never be the same as the first, But I like the album though. It's solid, and it grows on me. The other critique I had was that Cardi has to get better about rapping. Like, she has to focus. There was no growth in the rapping. There was no, I don't know. It's this thing that I feel like happened to a lot of rappers, even Nicki. It's like the hunger that pushes them, you can almost hear it in their raps, and you can hear it in their bars, and you can hear it in their personality and what the message they're trying to push. And then it's almost like once they hit this certain pinnacle or this certain point, then it turns into, they get comfortable almost. It's like that hunger's not there anymore. Like, Nicki hasn't given us a Roman or a Roman quality. It's not even about just Roman. It's all Nicki. But she hasn't given us that in quite some time. And I feel like they get in this place where they become so certain of themselves that they become comfortable. And the problem with that, it's great for them because that means they're self-actualized. But the problem for a fan who wants to see those different layers and volumes of who you are, we get stifled. And then it starts to reflect, in the stuff that doesn't really matter, like charts and shit. But yeah, don't get comfortable, Cardi. Like, you've had 7 years, and we're not gonna live that down. I mean, you made good on 7 years with this project, which is what we will hope for. But yeah, don't get lazy. Don't get lazy because it's starting to feel comfortable, and comfortable is not good, especially in hip hop. Because hip hop, I don't care if you're 15 or 35 or 55, it's still a competitive sport. When Jay-Z drops a feature, when Jay-Z drops an album at 40, 45, whatever, trust and believe, Jay-Z is trying to eat you niggas off the bone. Men, women, little children that rap, Bow Wow, Willow Smith. When Jay-Z was dropping, he was trying to destroy you all and remind you of who he is. And so, and Cardi, your first album, especially your mixtape, like Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 2, whoo, yeah. So just don't get lazy, man. Don't get lazy. Keep coming. Keep coming with it. Okay, moving on. What else happened? Shit. On the heels of Cardi dropping the album, Is She the Drama? Her album definitely stirred up some drama. And so we had the Cardi Nicki beef that went to hell with the kids and all that stuff. Although it didn't really go to hell to me. I don't know. When you're in battle with someone that you don't love, I think when you love someone, you should keep guardrails because you want to get past that. But when it's just somebody out on the street that you don't really know, even if it's like your coworker, because they are coworkers essentially, even if it's your coworker, like, I don't care about that lady kids. I know that's horrible to say, but I don't care about that lady kids. Like, I don't want nothing bad to happen to them, but if something bad happened to them and we know, well, you should think about that before you enter battles. But yeah, I'm sorry. I feel how I feel about that. Anyway, okay, so then that spilled into Nicki Cardi, and then JT came in for some wax, and somehow Santana got looped in, and y'all were there, y'all saw it. All I will say about all of that is, it's excessive when it's on the timeline, but if this produces good music, then I'm for it. It's just a new medium for hip hop, and I don't really give a damn. Give us the music. If this produces good music, then keep those tweets a coming. But if all it results in is y'all sitting on the internet taking digs at each other like every other person on Twitter does, then keep it. Or give back your star power. Give back your celebrity and your notoriety. Because we can hear random bitches argue on the internet every day of the week. So, yeah. Turn it into bars, turn it into songs, turn it into some art, or just keep it. Because we don't care beyond that. Y'all just some hood chicks in the projects arguing. And we can do without it. Let's see, what else? Well, this one I didn't really miss, but it happened before. Well, I didn't really miss it, but this will be my last catch up, and then we'll catch up story, and then we'll get into the stories that I kind of want to dig a little deeper in. But iconic New Hollywood, and if you know what that means, then you know. New Hollywood actress Diane Keaton passed away at the age of 79, and it stopped me in my tracks. I'll be honest. I've always been a fan of Diane Keaton my whole life. I grew up with Diane Keaton's work, from Baby Boom to First Wives Club to The Family Stone to Something's Gotta Give to I skipped Father of the Bride 2. Yeah, I'm very familiar with Diane Keaton. Book Club. Yeah, I saw Book Club like recently. Um, but yeah, man, Diane Keaton, she was she was kind of art personified. Like she did what she did on the screen, but she was a person who, like, she was brought here by art. Like art brought her here. Like, if I don't know if you've seen her home, but to look at her home that's here in LA, and the style of it, and the way it's set up, and she designed it, or she designed it, I believe. Um, and just to look at it, the house is a Diane Keaton home. You know, the way she dressed, the way she moved through life, the way she was carefree yet grounded in activism and things that mattered and people that mattered. And I could go on all day about Diane Keaton. But she was an amazing person. She was an amazing artist. I love holiday movies, and there's like 5 of them that I have to watch every year. Friday After Next, because that is a holiday movie, not up for discussion. Die Hard, um, This Christmas, love This Christmas, and The Family Stone. And so, if you've ever seen The Family Stone, it's the ending will hit different this year if you've seen The Family Stone. But yeah, the ending will hit different this year. Yeah, this will be the first year that the ending will hit a little different for us. But all in all, rest in peace to Diane Keaton, or shall I say, safe journey. Thank you for all the art, the inspiration, the gifts, the activism, the style, the embodiment of what it meant to be truly yourself and show up in whatever way that showed up, be it quirky or outside of the norm or gender bending or whatever it was. Just thank you for being that ball of art, that ball of inspiration. Thanks. So before we get into the big stories, let's take a quick break. That was a hell of an intro. Yeah, 17 minutes, hell of an intro. Let's take a break and we'll be back. All right, and we're back, and it feels good to be back. I'm excited to be back. Yeah, this season gonna be longer. I got out of here too quickly. I'm gonna pace myself this season. So glad you're here. Glad you're back. And welcome to anybody who's new. Welcome here. I'm gonna beef up my marketing this season too, and my promo and expanding on other apps. So hopefully our village here will grow. But if not, I'm glad to have you back. All right. So our first story, which I guess is the biggest story right now, the Gaza ceasefire deal has been signed officially, according to CNN. U.S. President Donald Trump and several other world leaders signed a Gaza ceasefire deal during a summit in Egypt. Earlier in the day, Trump hailed a historic dawn of a new Middle East. In remarks before the Israeli parliament. uh, this came after Hamas returned 20 remaining living hostages in Gaza to Israel under the U.S. brokered deal. It also handed over 4 coffins with the remains of the deceased hostages, according to Israeli authorities. Some 250 Palestinian prisoners and more than 1,700 detainees from Gaza held by Israel without charge have now been released. Whew. So the day we hoped would come has come, but it could have come a lot sooner, and it could have come. It could have come on the other side of what's being framed generally as a genocide. Um, Shit, man. It came on the other side of Israel doing almost irreparable damage to their image, their global image and global brand. You know, there have always been whispers and rumbles, but there's always been a strong defense against it. There's always been a strong presence of pro-Israel. Now, even though I feel like the support it has not waned as much as the PR, I think those who were more willing to have a voice, a pro-Israel voice or stance, are a little quieter these days. I don't think their sentiment has changed. I just think they don't want the undue, shit that comes with being pro-Israel. I still don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, though. I do not. And to be fair to myself, I'm deep in this Netanyahu beef. I have not liked him since I was in 6th grade, and I had to write about him. I said this last season for current events, and he was beefing with Yasser Arafat at that time. So I've done enough of my legwork to personally not like him. I don't have anything against the people generally. But I don't have anything against them generally, like I don't have anything against any other group of people generally. It's like, generally, I don't have anything against you all, except those who uphold white supremacy. Thought I forgot about you, huh? Racism? Did not. So yeah, my thoughts on this are just generally, it's like, you know how they say a day late, a dollar short? This is like 2 years late and billions of dollars short. I think the time that they take to not actively fight one another will hopefully foster some type of peace that will at least keep them from going back to this place. Am I hopeful that this would happen? Yes. Do I feel like that is likely? No, because I don't feel like this was done with the best of intentions. Again, I hope to be wrong for the sake of the civilians, because clearly we see the civilians are the ones who pay the ultimate price in things of religion and ego. But we've known that for quite some time. Yeah, man. Thoughts and prayers to all involved. Next story. This next one is kind of creepy. So it's creepy with a dash of classism. I was going to say racism. I'm pretty sure the race is a factor, but we'll just say classism for the sake of this story. So there's currently a whistleblower lawsuit alleging organ transplant fraud, where organs rejected from patients at Dallas's Parkland Hospital, where I was born, were allegedly transplanted into patients at the affiliated UT Southwestern Medical. These hospitals are connected by a skywalk, but UT Southwestern is known to have the better care and the more specialized care, if you catch my drift. The lawsuit claims that organs deemed unusable for Parkland's predominantly low-income patient base were instead given to U.S. Southwestern patients who were described as more affluent. The allegations also name organ procurement groups and point to a system influenced by profit and favoritism. Whoa. Okay. So I'm pretty sure if you're an organ donor right now, you're like, what the fuck? Because there's always been this underlying conspiracy theory that organ donors, or if you're an organ donor and you go to the hospital, then they'll let you, flatline if they want to use your organ on more affluent patients. Well, it's crazy how all this like tinfoil shit is like coming to fruition in real life. It's like, remember like 20 years ago, Alex Jones was like, they have a secret place where all the global elites meet and they go to this camp for 2 weeks, and then he snuck into Bohemian Grove and they were like, oh my God, it's a real place. And then fast forward, Alex Jones was like, the global elites are going to this little island where they're fucking kids and da 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 da. And then fast forward, Jeffrey Epstein released the Epstein files. Jeffrey released the Epstein files. Epstein, I like that better. And then he comes along And so to find out that, being an organ donor in the South, in Dallas, damn, Dallas, you're making us look bad. Uh, but yeah, that shit's crazy. That is, but I'm not surprised that it's happening. I'm not even surprised it's happening in Dallas because Dallas is still very much, as someone who lived in Dallas and then moved to Houston and then moved from Houston, well, spent a significant amount of time in Austin and then from there moved to LA. I can tell you, Dallas is still pretty segregated. Of all of those places I've just named, Dallas is still the most segregated. Like the groups are still, in their space. Now, not to the point of, like disrespect or mistreatment to, above normal degree, because it still happens. But yeah, but the groups are still pretty much, you can throw a rock in certain parts of town and know who you're gonna hit. Now, as you get to the center, like the downtown and the midtowns and things like that, it gets a little more mixy with the younger generations. But by and large, their parents still live in their respective corners of the city. So this doesn't surprise me that you would, ship a good Parkland liver from South Dallas and hike it on over to Highland Park. Give them a good South Dallas liver or kidney and send it to Highland Park. Damn. Well, if you're in Dallas, be careful. Check your organ donor status, because they're taking people out for organs. So yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a break. That story's kind of crazy. Let's take a break. We'll regroup and we'll be back. All right, we are back. Um, Man, okay. So that last story was crazy, right? Like the organ transplant fraud scam. Like, I don't know. Y'all be careful out there for real. We are in some crazy times right now. And I know they don't pay attention to this at the top, but when when people are struggling, crime goes up. And crime goes up because now people commit crimes to survive. So just double and triple check shit, man. So we have a new segment, and I'm going to be adding segments. Also, like I said, we'll have some guests pop in to help co-host too later in the season. But I'm creating some segments for the show because I want to be able to not only talk about the stories, the current events of the week or whatever, but I also want to be able to just kind of, share my thoughts with you and just talk about, stories, whether they're current or not. So, yeah. So I'm entitling this, and I'll tell you where I got it from because I know people like to steal and that stuff. So I'm directly inspired by someone, and I'm going to give them credit after this sip. Okay, so this segment is inspired. I've been watching Real Time with Bill Maher for whew, well over a decade. But anyway, and I don't always agree with Bill, but I think he fosters an environment where people who don't agree and people who don't agree with one another can come and have civil discussion and civil discourse, not like that bullshit they're trying to do on college campuses. That is rage baiting. That is race baiting. That is trying to use that rage and race baiting to create propaganda around just being justified to do whatever the hell they wanted to do in the first place. So that's different. But what Bill does is, because I get upset with Bill's point of view sometimes, sometimes to the point I've actually gotten so mad at Bill Maher that I like stopped watching for like 3 weeks. So I was like, I'm like spending any more fucking time watching your show and you talking that bullshit. But yeah, but I'll go back and make them up because I want to know like what I missed. But yeah, so anyway, in the spirit of it, if you don't watch Bill Maher, he has a segment where he calls it New Rules. And so I want to do a spin-off or an inspired by version. I'm not going to say knockoff on my shit. But I call it friendly reminders, and sometimes they're just simply quotes, just to kind of help people keep certain things and ideas top of mind. But then sometimes they're gonna be like light drags or light sarcasms or reads or what have you, whatever you call it in your respective groups, group chats rather. But anyway, so yeah, we're gonna do those, and then I'll do. So yeah, we'll try the friendly reminders out. No, we're gonna do the friendly reminders. We're not gonna try them out. We're gonna keep doing them and keep doing them until they become Emmy-winning, award-winning friendly reminders. But yeah, so let's get into it. The first one, friendly reminder, and I post some of these on Facebook. So if you follow Facebook, which I will be uploading more content over there, then you would have seen some of these friendly reminders, but I'll expound on them a little bit here. I generally just put the quote. But anyway, friendly reminder, there is no greater indicator of your necessity than an attack on your right to simply exist. And so when I say that, what I mean by that is anybody targeting you for just being here, just waking up every day and having the courage to show up the way you feel, be that black, be that Latino, be that trans, be that whatever you are. If there's a concerted effort, especially at not just in the zeitgeist of us being out and about, but because that can be rooted in religion or that can be rooted in just social ideology. But when it becomes an attack at the highest levels of government to stifle or to silence people who are like you and who look like you, and maybe people that aren't you, but people you love that fall under these groups, when those people are being attacked, it's no time greater than now than to fight and make sure that those voices are not lost. Because what's being pushed is an ideology of oneness. To be monolithic. All think the same. All want the same things out of life. All do the exact same thing. And that's not how we have the nuance of our culture. That's not why this country is, even on its worst day, one of the best places to live. And that's because this is not, they always like to say the melting pot, but not necessarily a melting pot. It's like a salad. You have your lettuce, you have your tomatoes, you have your onions, you have your bacon bits or cheese, you have whatever you put in there, your salad dressing. Well, salad dressing doesn't work in this analogy, so we'll remove the salad dressing. But the rest of that stuff, the rest of that shit, with the rest of it, the lettuce is not trying to morph into a tomato. If you mix them up enough, one doesn't become the other, they just blend. And when you bite them, you still taste the individuality of the tomato and the lettuce and the bacon and the cheese and even the dressing. Hell, we'll put it back in. The dressing too. You taste all of that stuff, but you taste it individually. One did not become the other and one did not meld into the other. And quite like that with this country. That's the idea, is that I can be as black, I can be as steeped in my blackness as I would like to be, and it's not a threat or an affront to anyone to be steeped in the culture of their whiteness or to be steeped in the culture of their Latino roots. What we should be able to do is bring the best of our culture over to the best of your culture, and we should be able to share and mix and celebrate and blend. That's what this fucking country is about. And there's a bunch of people trying to run this country right now who don't want the country to be that way. And I'm telling you now, you are going to have to eliminate about 75 million, well, more than that. That's just the voting block. But 50% of this country, which is about 170 million people, you're going to have to eliminate about 170 million people to make whatever bullshit you're trying to do happen, because that's not who we are. And even going over to that side, to the side that voted for this administration, they don't want that either. They don't want that. They just buy into the narrative that you give them and tell them that this is a threat to you if you don't neutralize it. No, it doesn't work like that. Half of you don't know anything. Half of you believe the bullshit. Who over there? I'm just looking. But half of them don't believe they only believe the bullshit that they're being told because they have no exposure otherwise. Yeah, you're gonna believe every black person is a thug or a murderer or a killer or all this stuff if you don't know one and you don't integrate with one, and not just one, not that my black friend shit. I mean, integrate yourself with people of that culture. If you don't know where to drive in your city or town to find those people or find those businesses, shame on you. But don't take your ignorance into a voting booth, because then we end up with shit like this, and nobody likes this. I don't care what you say. Even if you take joy in watching people suffer, nobody likes this shit. This isn't fun. This isn't fun for anybody, even the people who voted for it. And they're slowly coming over, and Democrats, don't shame them too bad, because you need those goddamn votes for the midterm, so don't be stupid. But yeah, or you at least need those people to stay at home during the midterms because shit's so crazy on the right. Be smart. They think you stupid. Anyway, R.I.P. to Sister Grandma. I think she passed away. I hope I didn't just kill that lady. Did I just kill Sister Grandma? Did I just kill Sister Grandma? Sister Grandma did. Hold on. I gotta find out. I can't finish this show if I don't know. Sister grandmother. Oh no, not grand wizard. Grandma. Yeah. Scissor's grandma. Grandma. Oh, I should have just asked the question right. See. Scissor's grandma. Let's find out. I gotta find out real quick. I'm sorry. Yes, Scissor's grandmother, Norma Rowe, passed away in 2020 of Alzheimer's disease. Damn that Alzheimer's disease. Yep, that's how my granny died too. 2020. Okay. Oh, she been dead for some while. Shit, I didn't know that. I mean, I guess I kind of knew that she may not have been with us. But R.I.P. to Scissor's granny, Miss Norma Rowe. We ain't gonna let them think we stupid. Shit. But yeah, so anyway, back to my friendly reminders. We're not gonna let it happen, man. We're not gonna let it happen. So deal with it. Friendly reminder. While Proverbs 24:16 says, "A just man falleth 7 times," I don't know why everybody thinks you have to literally fall 7 times. You don't have to fall the whole fucking 7, people. John Gray, you don't have to cheat 7 times to be reformed at 8th time. Recently on a podcast, John Gray apologized to his wife. Now, I'm hoping, because I didn't watch the podcast and I didn't see the clip, so I like to be fair. I'm hoping that he's just apologizing in general for everything he's put her through. And this is not in addition to the multiple, I know of multiple times he's been caught operating outside of the respect of his marriage. Listen, Christians, listen, Christians. You don't have to fall 7 whole times, or anybody, even if you're not a Christian. You don't have to fall 7 times to get it right. They say a just man falleth 7 times. You can fall 3 times and still be good. Like, you shouldn't fall. And the thing about it is, it's not even about falling. A just man doth falleth. Oh, what am I doing with that? Doth falleth. A just man doth falleth. I got that right. 7 times. But the way my grandmother explained it, and don't be disrespectful, I just told you she passed away. The way my grandmother explained it to me was that a just man falleth 7 different times. And by different times, and I think in the Old Testament it actually says it espouses different. A just man falleth 7 different times, meaning he falls in 7 different ways, not falling in the same well of adultery. So we're going to start with Christians. Christians, tighten up. Yes, I just tied Christianity to the city girls. Tighten up. Yeah, man, tighten up. Like, that's bullshit. You're embarrassing. You have embarrassed your wife at this point, and further to the point that she doesn't leave. And I'm not the one who'll be like, "Oh, she's stupid for not leaving." That's up to her to decide who she is for not leaving. But what I will say is she's staying because some part of her believes that it's still some good in you. Don't make her wait 7 damn times to find out if you worth a damn. You know? Like, damn, do right. And then you're doing it in front of all of these people, professing to be a leader and a shepherd, a man of Christ. I'm not even a Christian, and I'm telling you, like, that shit is fraud. And I don't want to hear that you played with sin and you targeted. Man, go to therapy. Fix that shit. Well, they are from the podcast. I did get snippets. Now, I didn't watch clips, but I did get enough. They did go to therapy, and I'm pretty sure that was one of the terms or conditions for them to even stay in a marriage. So I want to be fair. But in continuation of my rant, like, do the work and commit to the work. Like, got her looking bad. She ain't gonna leave. You keep going up, apologizing to the church, the congregation. They ain't gonna leave. You know they ain't gonna leave, which makes it manipulation. You know from the doctrine you teach that they not gonna leave, because the doctrine you teach tells them that you can fall 7 times, and they gonna lose count. Anyway, I suppose, man. Anyway, moving on. Friendly reminder. Exhale before I do this next one. Friendly reminder. For prosperity, learn to lock in. For peace, know when to log out. I know in this time, it's like I said, this is some strange time. Like, it's some weird shit going on. Like, we're in a vortex or something right now, because there's weird shit. Like, it's like everything, everywhere, all at once. It's like the government shut down, but there's peace in the Middle East temporarily. People are like struggling. 300,000 black women out of jobs, but people are all over TikTok dancing, TikToking happily. Like, and I don't know, I guess life happens that way. But back to my main point. Make sure that when you are trying to be prosperous and when you are grinding or working, you are locked in. No laziness, no procrastination. But also make sure when you're seeking peace that you're not chasing a bag in your peace as well, because you're not achieving peace. Like, even for me, like I said at the top of the show, when I stepped away and took a break, I remember I left. I'll call myself out. Last season, I had all these plans. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get into some clips and this and that. And I didn't. There's my one. There's one. Okay. I guess that's like my Cara Burnett, like I said, my ear tug or something. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So during my break, I just literally broke. Like, I just kind of went with the flow. I went up to the canyons. I read some books. I had a few trips to the beach. Or I had like one trip to the beach. I'm gonna lie. Got some hiking in. Got some gymming in. Cleaned up my diet a little bit. So yeah, I just kind of enjoyed life. Like, caught up on my cleaning, some chores, caught up on some work reports, like from a job. But just make sure you're living in the full moment of where you are. And maybe that's what this chaos I mentioned earlier is about. Everybody's just being present and living in that moment. Today's a TikTok dance. Tomorrow's a social activism reel about how 300,000 women are out of work. Black women are out of work. Just make sure you're honoring the moment with how you feel, and you're not performing outside of how you actually feel, because that's where burnout sets in, and that's the inevitable crash out. You're gonna crash out in some way, whether it's you're gonna irrationally show up in one moment and now you've ruined your reputation because you didn't manage your emotions well and give yourself the rest that your body's been begging for, and so you lash out to or at people that you would never do that to, only because you didn't take care of your star player. So crash outs can happen in many ways, and they can happen for different reasons. They can show up in different ways. So just make sure you're honoring every moment in that moment. And so just be present. And finally, I like the little woo sighs I take before I do it, because I'm ready to get into some things with this friendly reminder. Friendly reminder. Living vicariously through celebrities and going to battle for them is exactly why we're in this situation we're in right now. And I don't know why it didn't stand out to me sooner, but there was something happened. So we know Nicki, and dare I say, I'm giving credit to Nicki and Cardi for this epiphany I had. But in the midst of that beef, and I think it going to hell, as the people say, I think something about it going to hell kind of connected a through line to what's wrong with our society right now. Poor people. And when I call you poor, I mean if you're not, and I'm being nice, if you're not in the top 5% of earners in this country, you are poor. Welcome. I'm the speaker at the Poor Club. We're trying to be upwardly mobile, but effectively the Poor Club. So if you're poor and you're pouring your energy into what Nicki Minaj is doing, or if you're on the Nicki team, or if you're on the Cardi team, I'm not done. If you're on the Donald Trump team, if you're on the Kanye West team, if you're on the MAGA team, if you're on the Elon Musk team, if you're on all these teams that have all this money, power, and influence, and you think somehow you supporting them gives you somehow access or superiority amongst the poors, then that's all it gives you, and that's fleeting. You're getting nothing from that. What you are getting is robbed blind or robbed willingly by a bunch of capital elitists who want your money, and not just your money. They want your money, they want your time, attention, and even me in this moment, we want your eyes. You're giving all of this away in hopes that they will remember or see or acknowledge you. And I can tell you now, I could run the number. I've already ran the numbers, but I didn't bring the numbers with me because I didn't want to preach, and then I didn't want this to turn into a math tutor class. But they don't contribute nearly a fraction of what they take. And by take, I mean you hand over every day. You hand over with your time. You hand over with your think pieces, your free think pieces, the uncontracted work. You occupy this space where you fight with strangers on their behalf. You uphold policies. You uphold laws and rules that even hurt you, but you'll wince and you'll cry in silence, because as long as the people you want to hurt are hurting, then your pain was worth it. Right? Wrong. So whether you're Team Trump, Team Ye, Team Nicki, Team Cardi, Team Obama, Team Oprah, and I love Oprah. I'm probably Team Oprah. Team Beyonce, Team Jay-Z, Team Rock Nation, Team Bad Boy, Team Freak Off. No matter what team it is, no matter what team you're rooting for, at the end of the day, your team is very rich, very wealthy, and they somehow keep their hand and their sign up in your face more than anybody on any corner in any corner of this country. These rich, super elite people keep their hands out. They keep their fucking hands out asking you for money. They know it's a recession. They know it's a government shutdown. They know that the money you used to make 20 years ago as minimum wage is still the same damn thing you make today. They know these things. That's why it's even become a part of the marketing. It's a part of when to strategically drop to get your money, because they know when you get paid. Have you ever realized when you're on your phone, your payday, you get the ads for the stuff that you were either looking at or the stuff that you had in a cart, or you get your Amazon reminders on your payday? I know I'm not the only conspiracy theorist out there, but it's not by accident. They want your time. They want your money. They want your eyeballs. Again, me too, your eyeballs. Thanks for watching. They want all these things from you. And it will be, and as the saying goes, Fair trade or fair exchange is not robbery. What are you getting back? I can even cape, as someone who loves music, I can even cape for a musician. I still listen to the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I still listen to After the Dance Marvin Gaye. You know? I still listen to Whitney. I still listen to I'm Your Baby Tonight. I still listen to My Love Is Your Love. You know? I still listen to Share My World. You know? That was an investment. The time I spent, the songs and the messages and the art I've created. I could cape for music, you know? But what I can't cape for is extreme capitalism in the name of crushing the middle class and eviscerating the poverty class. How many people are still paying off stuff on Klarna, which, by the way, now is on your credit report? Bait and switch. Yeah, bait and switch. Now all the stuff that would never end up on your credit report is making its way to your credit report. Because they were losing out money because the economy is what? Economic downturn. So, last thought on this. I don't mind or nor do I care about who you support, what you support, or why you support them. Don't want to leave that out. Or why you support them. What I want you to understand, though, is if there's no fair exchange, if you're getting nothing from this situation, all you're getting is robbed. You're getting robbed. And the worst part of this robbery is that you're handing it to them in some belief that you're getting something from it. So start local. Start in the little leagues. Major in the minors first. You know, because you're always going to be a minor in the majors. So, you know, keep your heart, 3 Stacks. Keep your heart. But anyway, that's it for our first show back. I'm just glad to be back, man. There's been so much going on, and there's like some of my perspectives have even shifted a little bit. I'll get into those, you know, as they come up. But the perspectives I used to have about certain things, certain people, certain ideas, they've shifted. Or I'll even say some of my perspectives have become more emboldened even. Just as I get older, I think, and hopefully this is the case for most, but as you get older, you begin to think about, it's gonna sound kind of morbid, but you begin to think about what you're leaving behind and what you've contributed to what you're leaving behind. And I think that's where I am. I'm very focused on what I am contributing for what I leave behind. I think that's very important. And I have some road behind me in which I am proud of. I've accomplished a lot. I've accomplished a lot. But the work I'm doing now is more rooted and more grounded in who I am, even to a degree who I needed in younger years. So yeah, that's the purpose for this, and that's the mission for this. And honestly, that's why you have a season 2, because otherwise I would have been very fine with just doing a little season 1 and moving on with my life. But we have a season 2 because no matter how big this platform gets or not, I think it's important that there was someone in front of a camera saying these things at this time. And there are many who are saying things, but I think it's important that these things that I'm saying be said to you. And so with that, see you next episode. Until then, take care of each other, please. And be kind. Please be kind. Isn't it hard enough? It's hard enough, right? Groceries high as shit. Be kind, asshole.